Okay, so following up from last week's reveal, this week we learn even more, specifically about the legend of the sun god Nika. And this is why, with last week's episode review, I was beating around the bush a lot, because I didn't know how to give context to this without going into full-on spoiler territory because of this. But now that it is revealed, let's talk about this, because yes, this reveal essentially means that Luffy, by technical definition of possessing the Gum Gum fruit, is not only the next sun god, Nika, but also Joy Boy as well. Like, it's almost official confirmation of that idea. Meaning, the whole Joy Boy moniker is actually one truly passed down generations through pretty much those who possess the Gum Gum fruit. Like, if you really look at the image of sun god Nika in Who's Who's mind, it does look a lot like Luffy. And that is, like, confirmation that, yes, it is. The sun god Nika moniker is one that is passed down through, like, the power of the Gum Gum fruit. And I will say, right from the jump, I do kind of like how the anime handled the build-up to this reveal a little bit more than the manga. And the thing that does put the anime's handling of this reveal above the manga in my mind is that the latter's take was done through very expositional means and slightly less so on the visual build-up. Like, I think in part that's because at the time the reveal happened, we were expected to have pieced all of Oda's little breadcrumbs together. The anime, on the other hand, has given us a much more of a visual cue. We can connect back to this reveal through the sort of hockey of light that Luffy was wielding in his fight with Kaido. I guess what I am saying is that however much the end result is the same, I do like how it is mixed with that element of from a show don't tell. Like, I like how the anime it does a lot more of the show don't tell, but just giving us that very simple thing of Luffy, of the power of the sun god, of the power of the Gum Gum fruit, like almost pretty much awakening inside him, just giving us that little extra tease. It kind of helps with this reveal a lot, in my opinion. Now, with this reveal, again, it just puts Shanks in the limelight so much because he obviously knew about the secret of the Gum Gum fruit. Like, he had to have. Otherwise, I don't think he would have even bothered raiding that government transport carrying it. The only question, though, is what he was even planning to do with it. Because I think the only thing Shanks didn't entirely account for in the whole thing when he became in possession of the Gum Gum fruit was Luffy eating it. So that just begs the question of his original intent. What exactly was he going to do with the Gum Gum fruit when he still had it in his possession? This reveal. Understand, this reveal has basically flipped the entirety of the very first scene between Luffy and Shanks on its head, and it just has me questioning Shanks' motives all the more throughout the entirety of the series. Like at the end of the day, I do believe Shanks' intentions are for the good of all, or at least I want to believe that. But it is amazing how a simple reveal has brought everything we've seen with Shanks even further into question, and thrown everything I thought I knew about him into even more of a chaotic mess than they already were. And honestly, this isn't just coming from the anime perspective, as I still feel this way from reading the manga. Like, even now, I'm still questioning what exactly are Shanks' motives. What exactly is this guy doing? Oda, again, just with this one reveal of what the Gum Gum fruit's true origins, Oda just flipped everything on its head, and I genuinely got no ideas as to what Shanks' motives, what his operandi is, what the fuck he's even doing. Hell, this, again, it just begs the question of, can we even trust him? I want to. I think he can still be trusted, but what are you doing, Shanks? What's the plan here? What are you doing? That's just kind of the thing I'm dealing with. I guess you could say I'm coping with in my head. I got no idea what Shanks is planning. But with all that said, I do want to talk about the fight itself between Jimbe and Who's Who, because I do believe it was extended, but by a bit, quite a bit in this episode. And honestly, I think what they did extend worked out for both Who's Who and Jimbe, as it felt like both characters got to show a lot more of their skills as a fighter, as well as their intuition for battle in this episode than they did in the manga as well. And overall, like the whole episode, the whole fight, it felt like that they just got a lot more room to play in terms of the final moments of the fight itself. Which, in the case of Wano, I'm always appreciative of, as I think this episode is an example of how my biggest issue with the fights in Wano is they always end a little abrupt. They always ended a little abruptly in the manga, but it doesn't feel as much so in the anime. But this one feels like it at least tried to build up more to the final moments of the fight. Also, I do admit, for as much as I hate episodes where they intersplice flashbacks of previous arcs into a fight, this episode did feel like it kind of earned it a little bit more, as Luffy and Jimbe do have a very storied history worth kind of calling back to kind of reinforce that, yeah, Jimbe truly has been a member of the crew even before he like officially became one. Like it was all leading to basically this moment where he did finally join. Also, I don't know if it's a change or not, but in the manga I think they did make it seem like did make it look like Jimbe was like wearing a full body armament and that he wasn't really getting all that hurt or scratched by Who's abilities. But here they show that no, he was taking some hits, and he's just that, and the fact that he was just taking those hits in order to get close to Who's Who just shows he's just that much more of a fucking badass, which I appreciate a lot more, honestly, that they actually did show him getting hurt, because again it just made his victory all the more rewarding. Also, art and animation on this episode was great, but I also found really took advantage of the fact that this is a fight between a fisherman and a cat zone fruit eater, and really just played into the feral aspect of the combat of what you expect from pretty much a fight like that. I think the only visual change I will say I wasn't a huge fan of was the color. Was when they, I guess, just decided to change the color to Who's Who's body when he activated Iron Body. Like, I don't know why they did that, because it kind of just looked like regular old armament hockey. Like, I don't know what the purpose of that was. It felt like it wasn't really needed. Just saying. Also, I gotta say, I forgot how hilarious it is to see all the gifters who, by all accounts, should be the enemy become allies. Like, I don't know. There's just something absolutely hilarious about the whole thing. Well, I guess slightly creepy too, considering that by all intents and purposes, they are kind of her slaves. Like, when you get down to it, that they do have to follow orders unrequited because of her power. But I don't know. Maybe the power also awakens something within them. I don't know. And yeah, it was just. But aside from that, it was also just so rewarding to see Zeus finally get officially recognized as Nami's partner. Like, after all the crap he's been through, he deserves at least something close to a happy ending. And yet, I like how Usopp still recognizes he's kind of whipped. Like, he's definitely aloof. However much Nami coats it behind the idea of being her partner, Zeus is her slave. Let's keep it real about that. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of the Night, signing off. Later, everyone.